All right. Welcome to the pilot episode of Between Two Trees. I am your
Woo-hoo.
host of the official Grove podcast, Candace Barbee, and this is my trusty co-host, Robert Ray.
Hello
I
out
was gonna
there.
say, you gotta talk to the people. They can't see us.
Hello, people. My name is Robert Wray.
And we're
Um,
so excited.
I'm very excited for this because I think it's going to shed a lot more light on what we do, what goes on there, instead of just behind the trees, behind a bowling alley, skating rink, all that
Yeah.
rock and roll. People want to know.
Well,
I see
yeah.
them. I see them look through the fence when it's closed. I seen that yesterday.
We've even had people try to scale our fence while we're closed. Someone has in fact broken their leg trying to do that.
Yeah,
In
that's
fact. Not
I
so
don't.
fun, but
Yeah, I've never even attempted to do that, and I'm pretty bold, so I don't know.
you do love the grove a lot, but I don't think you love it enough to climb over the fence for it.
I'll wait for the gates to open. It's easier that way.
Probably preferable. I need my sound engineer's legs unbroken.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm wearing a headset because I'm an audio engineer. That's right. I run
Yes.
sound at the Grove. That's right.
Who could not get, like, 3 different microphones working in preparation for this episode.
Yeah, no kidding, right? When it comes to PC stuff, there's about 6,000 clicks that you can get in there. So,
We got it. We got
but
it.
eventually, just like the old analog days, we somehow got through the show.
We figured it out. The
We
show must
got it.
go on.
That's right.
So, yeah, we're just to give people, like you said, a little snapshot of on what the plan is for Between Two Trees, even though we joked about the title, but, it's that really is what it is.
That's right.
We really wanna give people a kind of an inside look on what we do at the Grove and the incredible artists that we are so fortunate to have, come across our stage during our season. So we've already got some exciting interviews being lined up, of which we will tease a little bit later. But, Rob, why don't you give the people a little bit of background on who you are and how you heard about the Grove and just, like, your first experience with it?
Right. So yeah, I'm born right here in Glasgow. I live behind the Grove pretty much. Like I'm point 0.3 of a mile from the Grove. So like if you need to put a mic on it at any time, I'm the guy. But playing in bands around here for years, playing in Bowling Green, I did once I got out of the service, I toured with a band called Slander and I was in various other bands and mainly I do a lot of hired gun stuff. And that kind of follows in suit with running sound.
And that means what? Can you elaborate on what you mean by hired gun?
Well, yeah, I'm a bass player by trade, and I can play some guitar and all that stuff, a little bit of banjo here and there. But
A little bit of
the bass,
this, a little bit of that.
yeah, the bass has always been my calling. I've always called myself a bass player. But in any band I've ever been in, even my first band, Valhalla, and man, I just always somebody always gets stuck with the PA. Like and back then, this was like 1987, something like that. I'm not telling my age, but that was old analog, everything was heavy, half of it didn't work, it had cobwebs all over it, most of it was left over from the '70s, it was all scratchy, but it was all heavy and stinky and smelled like cigarettes and ashtrays. That's all I know from the old gear, and I did that for years, and, once the digital world hit, I went with it, so, and I started running a lot of sound on a lot of different of the, Midas type systems, whether it be the X32 like we run successfully at the Grove,
That's right.
like a true badass.
Like a
The
chant.
X30, it's a champ. And I do love the X32, the M32, all the 32 series, when it comes to anything that you need. I've learned so much about everything working with musicians, working with, everything from weddings. to full bands to just one person with an acoustic standing there. You know, it's
Seen
you
it
have to
all.
have you have to have a game plan, and you have to experience the storms. You have to experience all the bad and all the good to even get good. And this old cowboy, he I really tried to do everything I could because I knew I was hooked into sound once I would just lay down at night and really start going through everything in my mind over and over again, of the good and the bad, of what I didn't do wrong. How can I do this better? And after
Sure.
years and years and years of that, and the only reason I did this is because when I was a player, I got tired of bad sound. I would look over and I
You
wouldn't
know
see
what
us.
both sides of it is.
Yeah, and just be like, because I remember just playing quite a few shows down in the South, Birmingham, Alabama, New Orleans, and the sound guys just they ruined our show, and I still never forget it till now. So, but I don't look at it and be like, well, I want to do better. I just want to help. I just want to be the fifth. I want to be the fifth Beatle. I want to be the solution. They can get up there and make a lot of racket, but who's going to mold that into sound?
That's right.
Who's going to be there for them? That way they can literally just plug up and do their thing. Cause
That's right.
I don't want them to have to experience any of the audio issues, have to worry about it. I just want them to put their shades on and do their thing.
Sound engineers are the unsung heroes of the live music world. I
Yeah.
told you that I still wanna do this and just have, like, some stickers made that say "Sound Engineers Rock" and just, like, hand them out to every sound engineer that I see standing behind a board because it's a thankless job a lot of the times, and it's so, so important. The show literally cannot happen without you all.
And whenever I go to a show, I'm always looking for the sound guy. If I go to a big show, I just went to what was that last? I went to a fruit bat show last year, and that was
Oh,
fruit,
yeah, I remember you told
fruit
me that,
bats. Oh, I'm going this year
right?
too, by the way. But
Oh,
all I know is, Eric had one of the best sound guys that traveled with him, and I was just talking to him. He talks to a million guys, but this guy let me walk through the console. He gave me the grand tour,
nice.
and I appreciate that stuff because that's how it all happens with this community.
That's right. You had a little visitor behind the soundboard a couple weeks ago that took some interest and was asking some questions, remember? Usually we don't like it when people come poking behind the soundboard too much. We had an exception recently. You remember that?
Yeah, and he was there last year and was kind of just wandering around. Remember I think they came from the same band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they came from, like, Indiana or something, like, or
Yeah.
cause I was like,
Um,
"What school do you go to?" And I thought it was local. I was like, Where's that?" And I was like, "Close to up in the Ohio River," or something like that. But,
yeah, I got the
hey.
cutest picture of you all.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, and, whenever I get anything like that, my door is open. My door will always be open. My door is open right now. If anybody ever wants a guitar lesson, I'm not an expert at guitar, but a little kid needs to know how to play 4 chords because we don't have any of that around anymore. Backstage music closed, but
Yeah,
that's all free because
yeah,
that's how it was for me, so, like,
that's awesome.
that's the way it goes for kids, just like the Grove, 12 and under is free, so.
That's right. That's right. And that correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a big part of the reason why you even wanted to kinda get on board with us, right?
Yeah, growing up around, my stepdad's parents were traveling, gospel musicians, basically, to me. I looked up to them like they were amazing musicians.
Well, of course, they
I
were
went
super
to
nice to you.
they were because they raised the roof wherever they went, whether it was in a church or at a sing-in, but they wrote their own music. Yeah. And I would watch them practice, just a piano, him and her, and, you know, when I started to get into the scene, especially around here, these kids ain't got nothing to do except sit in parking lots and get in trouble. Everything's so expensive around here to do. If they can't go to the lake, we ain't got no beach, you know? Yeah. But, I did it all for I d any if it's all ages, I'll run sound down at the concerts in the park to help, Tony and those guys
Yeah,
out. That's all
absolutely.
ages, so I wanna give everybody as much as I can of myself.
Yeah. Well, you do a hell of a job, buddy. We sure appreciate you. I don't even remember how I was trying to remember how I even heard your name because I got wind of who you were through someone else whenever I like started trying to figure out who the hell was going to run sound at the Grove. And somebody gave me your name and I guess the rest has just kind of been history.
Was it Colton? Colton might have, because
No, I don't even know that you guys knew each other then. Did you?
'cause I had met him, like, a couple weeks before that.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, because I remember sending you a picture like, "Hey, I'm here with Colton," because remember it was just he was in the background.
That is
So
so funny, man.
and
Serendipity.
yeah, and, Colton was just, he was super welcoming, I was like, "Wow, he's everywhere, he's fast." So, he's on the run, he's on the move, and
Always.
always.
Colton is always on the move. We are talking about the one of Rob's fellow sound engineers that was gracious enough to do our very first install on our sound system. It has been that was really important to me from the jump was building the space from an audio standpoint, the way that it needed to be because it's set up so naturally perfect for good sound with just the bowl that is up, towards the backside of the venue and the way that everything opens up around the crowd area. We've been kind of fine tuning it a little bit, adding things here and there while we've gone through the years. So I like to think that people are noticing. I know that we do, but we're nerds.
Yeah, I mean, we started with, we were out even the sound booth, we would just wheel that out, and there was no covered shelter,
Yeah,
so,
we didn't even
like,
have our little pergola.
we didn't have all the catwalk behind us with the anything, nothing, it was just trees, but I
Yep.
remember I walked in and I was first thing I do when I walk into a new place I don't know, especially if it's outside, is I looked at the stage, I looked where the module was, I looked where the soundboard was, and, I was just looking at the trees, I was like, "How the hell is this gonna work?" It's like all these trees are basically, deflectors of sound. They're going to send sound here and send sound there, and I just didn't know how that was gonna work, but man,
Yeah.
once I got that sound kinda where I wanted, I was like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely do
And
this. This is,
it
you know,
worked.
big time earthiness to it." So,
Yeah, it does. It does. It's a special thing for sure. And we've well, obviously, we're going to assume that if people are listening to this or watching this, that they know what the Grove is, but the Grove is a all ages, all independent seasonal outdoor venue. We're located in Glasgow, Kentucky, in the south central part of the state. This has been our fifth consecutive year, full season. So half of a decade of doing this, homie. That's kind of
that's
crazy.
that's right, I was in my 40s when we started this.
I was in my 20s. Oh, man.
The coolest thing about the Grove is, it's the mulch, looking over and see the campfires, looking back at the sound booth and at night and seeing all those lights on, the catwalk up there and all the bar lights and,
It's
like,
the vibe.
yeah, it's just,
Did you see the reel I posted today?
that it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, and I love seeing all the smiling faces, the crowd ripping it up,
It's
people
the
bringing
best
their
part.
dogs, you know you always get some amazing food going, so people are eating. Usually, they're with their whole families.
Yeah.
That stuff is
You bring
priceless to me, I'm sorry.
bring a
You can't
pit into it.
I could go to a million, venues that are pretty popular, and I could name a lot of them, but you can't do pretty much any of that list that I just named there, so Heads up on that one.
Yeah, it's true. I think that the, just the homegrown backyard feel of the venue is what people come back for, 'cause it's I mean, I started addressing our audiences as our Grow family years ago because it so quickly became that, it's we all know that you don't have to be blood related to people to consider them family, and doing this for 5 years, I've got family all over the state. It's kind of insane.
And then we have our musician family that we get to see all the time or from time to time, or we get to see them rise. Well, we might see them on the Opry the next day or the next week.
You just
And
never know.
yeah,
One day they're playing Tom Petty covers at the Grove, and the next they're on stage at Laurel Cove.
that's right. That is true. And I remember, just running sound for like so many people I never even would have heard of if it wasn't for the Grove myself, because I don't go out of my way for, I'm an indie rocker.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
are.
that it's not that I set myself up for bluegrass at home all the time. So, like,
You
it's really
don't?
it's taken me out of my element, and honestly, I appreciate that more than anything. Because if anybody gets me out of my musical element and gets me smiling, I'm like, "Wow, okay, cool."
I love that. We've even expanded your horizons a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I remember my buddy Travis, he ran some sound there at the Grove a little bit too when I used to play for, High
Mm.
Fidelity all the time, and, I got Travis running sound at an older venue before the Grove, and he's like, "I don't know, man. I'm all metal." And I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this because
I bet he
he's all
will. "Hey, Trev.
ne
Kick it,
next yeah,
Trev."
"Kick it, Trav." But, yeah, next thing he is messaging me nonstop about country bands, how awesome they
Hey.
are, and,
You never
like
know.
horn bands, and I'm like, "Whoa, what happened to Mr. Metal here? He might be
Er,
expanding his wings a little bit." So,
shoot.
that's one of the greatest things about, being an audio engineer is, hey, it might not be your cup of tea, but it's gonna be your tea that night, and
Exactly.
you're still gonna love the tea, I don't care.
Might just be a little different of a flavor that you're used to, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited, as far as the guests that we've got lined up for this, obviously we're gonna have, artists from the Grove that are upcoming, people that have been with us before, but it's gonna be people outside of that too, I'm gonna have some tourism folks on here, gonna have some music focused nonprofit people on here, some freelance music journalists. We're being as well rounded as possible with this thing. Because we're really passionate about, just independent Kentucky entities in general, whether those be, the up and forming nonprofits with a music focus, or an independent artist just starting out, or a little bitty tiny agency that just has two or three artists. That's what we're about. We're here to help those folks tell their stories before they go and stand on that big stage.
Oh, yeah, and it's one of the things that you do best is you really mix it up. Like,
I try.
it's
I don't.
it's so diverse in so many ways, like, even when you mention, like, a lot of the some of the meetings that you go to and some of the conferences and, other things of the marketing realm that I have no idea as a sound guy or just a bass player, and, all that stuff is amazing to hear because that's the foundations of and the pillars of all this music industry that's built because without anything that like what you're doing, it's never going to happen for a lot of these people.
It's just an ever-changing world. It's a full-time job just to stay on top of all of the changes, but, I mean, it's no job is more important than the other. We can, it all fits together. We've all gotta have we're the tiny but mighty venue team is what I always like to call us, because it's all gotta happen, and it's all gotta happen right, or, it's not what it's supposed to be. And you and I have, I think, both been very individually focused on devoting our energies into making this what it should be in our roles. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, I think so
Um,
too. But we've got
yeah,
the
I wanted to thank you for, like, introducing me to a lot of other artists besides just taking me out of that factor, like Ben Sollee, like,
I didn't
good
even know
lord.
that I had done that.
Yeah, that was just the guy. I mean, when I hear, like, a cello, I'm instantly gonna think of that guy.
I just always assume that you already know all of the artists that I'm booking.
Man, I look into them. I'm, like, a big nerd about that. As soon as it happens, I'm watching videos. I'm definitely going to videos because I wanna hear what they sound like,
Yeah,
and,
you do your homework.
I wanna know, like, "Hey, is that 9 people on stage?" Or something like that?
Oh, man,
Plus, I
Ben
have
was
I
so
have to
good.
do the yeah, I have to do the math of, like, "Hey, I might have this act, and, this is gonna be awesome, but I might have another act that night too," so I'll have to do the juggling routine and start setting some scenes and doing the math and the game plan in my head of what goes where, that way I can maybe knock a home run for both bands or something like that, and I might have, like, a Ben Sollee and then another full band right behind it? So,
Yep,
yeah.
never can tell, but you're always ready for it all. We appreciate that. That B. Taylor and Ben Solly show, though, that was gosh, that was so incredible.
So incredible, like, we've had some of the most, like, the memorable shows, like, one of some of my favorites is, like, Town Mountain. I mean,
Ah, yeah. Oh, boys.
good lord. American Aquarium, that was amazing, good lord.
Gosh, that was a banger. They're playing the
And,
Ryman in a month.
right, Dan Tomiski,
Yes, oh, Danny boy. That was so
and I just
funny running into him in Nashville on the sidewalk. Did I ever tell
eh
you about that?
yeah, you did tell me, but what's crazy to me is the amount of foosball he knows. That guy is he's like a champion foosball player, and I'm like, "Of course you are," like
Dan Taminsky would be. That's so funny, and he loves his
but
puppies, so we
yes.
love that.
But, yeah, as far as some of the locals, like, as far as in the state, Laurel Lewis, and, I've got some big Faye Brother Smith, good lord. There's a
Mhm.
lot, that list
So
is
fun.
long. I like Oliver Ciani, he's awesome too.
We've got so many incredible artists in Kentucky that I have never understood for the life of me why everybody's like, "Nashville, Nashville, Nashville, Nashville songwriter night." I'm like, "Y'all, have you looked around? Have you been to Eastern Kentucky? I don't know if you have, but there's something in the water up there and it is working."
Yes, it is. That whole area over there is saturated with some fantastic Appalachian songwriters.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Some of which will be making a little visit to the Grove relatively soon. I guess we can go ahead and let folks know that Justin Wells is going to be our first official guest of Between Two Trees. He's going to be opening for Lucero on the 25th. We're so excited. It has felt like such a long time coming for Justin to come and play with us. I have been such a fan of his for so long, and it's way overdue, but super excited he's opening for them.
Yeah, right? I was like, "Wait, you got Justin Wells with Lucero?" That's
Yeah,
I've been to some big shows, around the Kentucky, but I ain't yeah, that's a good lineup right there. I'd do it.
I have to agree, my friend. Whenever I was on my way up to Lexington uh last week to go do an interview, I put on his most recent album that he released, I think in maybe fall of last year. Gosh, it is just so good. He's such a prolific songwriter. I'm really excited to see him on our little stage.
I was listening to Breakfield this morning. their new album. I'm sorry, I'm still a huge Brakefield fan,
You
so
love Brakefield, which was previously Boy Named Banjo,
Boy
for
Named
people
Banjo,
that
yeah.
don't know. We got them just on the cusp of the name change, which was a little weird because it's like, what do we what do we say?
Well, I mean, it's not like you know any band that's just changed their name.
I
even thought
know.
about that. I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." But, yeah, I think that was their last show before they even changed their name, but they were all so nice, but, like,
They
once I was
were
doing
super sweet.
sound che yeah, their sound check was I was like, "Whoa, if this sound check is this good, this is gonna be really good." So and it was.
I remember you being really excited about the mix for that show.
Yeah.
They were really good. Shout out to Brakefield. Hope those fillers are doing good, doing the
Shout out
thing.
to the shout out to the Clay Street unit. There you go, right
And
there.
and to Ken Pomeroy. We're just gonna give all the shout outs. If you can't see the video, Rob is wearing a Clay Street Unit shirt. I am wearing a Ken Pomeroy shirt, both of which are Grove fam, of course. Ken Pomeroy opened for Justin, or for, oh my god, help me. No,
Was it
why did I wanna
it
say
wasn't Eric Boland, or
John
was it?
Moreland. John Moreland.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you oh, yeah,
I
that's
can't
right.
s I kept
Ooh,
wanting to say Justin Us, like, I'm talking about Justin Wills. Yeah, John Moreland, good lord, what a show. What a show.
what a show. Right, and that sound check was deep. He's a
Mm.
deep talker. He was a really, really sincere, super nice guy, but, like
Oh, yeah, that came as no surprise to me, and I was just so tickled with our crowd's behavior because you could have heard a pin drop on that mulch
yeah,
and, somebody would have known because everybody was just locked into what he was doing, and that to me, like, that is everything that I have ever wanted to see, just, like, as a listening environment. I so desperately wanted us to be that whenever we started this, and it's like, you can't control people's behavior, you can only curate a space and the programming within it and hope that they will. But that was such a like, that moment for me was just like, "Oh, man, like, the people are here for the right reasons," you know?
right. Yeah, we can get in that venue, you can absolutely get a a crowd response as a rocking song is, a very, very serious, very heartfelt song. You can almost get the same crowd response. They'll just rip and roar afterwards. And yeah, the background singers were clear that night, AKA the cicadas. That's the
That
background singer.
yes, that is right.
Because you have to, when you're running sound, I'm sitting there and it's going, and I can hear it. I can see it on the soundboard. Like
A little
that's
filler right there.
that little cicada right there. But yeah, when I was sitting there doing, I was like, okay, so I got wind, I got cicadas, I got crowd. Okay, I got a band too somewhere in there. I know I do.
That's right. It was so fitting though with Ken Pomeroy having just released her single "Cicada" though.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that literally with like, when we were standing up like, the merch area behind the stage. I told her about listening to that song and just how much it touched me, the first time that I listened to it, and it really made her happy, so she gave me one of these little cicada shirts, so
When
that
I
was
was setting up sound for Emily Jamerson, um, I
whoop,
had
whoop.
yeah, I had set up sound for her brother Nick, and Emily was going to open for him, and they were talking about the couple songs they were going to do together at that one point, and they were all so nice. And when we were in a sound, she goes, I think it was their guitar player or something like that. She goes, "What does that sound? Something's rattling." It was a cicada. Because I thought something was broken. I was like,
That's so
"Oh no,
funny.
there's
I
an
didn't
amp
know that.
rattling."
I didn't know she had said that. That's so funny.
Yeah,
And that
so.
Also an incredible show. We were so fortunate to host Nick's album release party for his In the Narrow Way tour last September, and Emily opened for him, and it was beautiful, and I cried an embarrassing amount of times. So there, you know, Emily is coming back. Give her a little plug. She's coming back on August 22nd. We have got an incredible lineup of singer-songwriters on that bill that I am going to be releasing very soon. So if people are listening to this, they're getting a little sneak peek.
It will be my returning time back from Las Vegas. I will be vacationing in Las Vegas the week before that.
You will indeed. Gonna have to
Uh,
take a trip over to the Sphere.
yeah, for sure. Of course, Candace knows this, but my son has been accepted to UNLV as a freshman in college, so we're gonna take him over there and drop him off at the mountains, and I'm coming back by myself, and the Grove can have me.
The world gets to have you, Robert. The
There you go.
world. This
But
is
yeah, it's
your
gonna be fun. I was
your
like,
second dose of freedom.
there you go. But that'll be his biggest dose of freedom,
His
I think.
first, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
congrats to Mason, that's so huge.
during the Tom Petty show, you had Barlow run sound as I was
Mhm.
playing bass, and, you know, Barlow did hook my son up with a pretty sweet contact for getting, rolling cables at the Sphere while he's in Vegas, so
Very cool.
if there's anything that my son is great at, it is definitely rolling XLRs and keeping them all faked good,
You can
so
do it, I've seen it. That skill must be genetic because, woof, see both of y'all up there just whipping those things.
yeah, I picture my 6th great grandfather rolling cables for some kings over in the old country, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's just like our ancestors intended. Yeah, so what have we got on the docket for this weekend, Robert?
Dude, it's nothing big, but I hear Pink Floyd came out of retirement and they're coming to the Grove.
What? But I heard
Yeah.
they changed their name to, Dark Side of the Moon just to keep it,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah,
DL. We gotta,
on the
like,
DL.
their last show as a band was on July 2nd of 2005, so kind of a big deal. We're just
Really?
kidding. Their Pink Floyd is not coming to the Grove. But yes,
Yeah.
that is a true fact. That was in fact their last show.
I figured their last show was a little bit before that because I graduated in '94, and I remember the Division Bell came out in '92, and that
Mhm.
was that was kind of the wraps there because I knew Roger was pretty well gone with that project, so
Well, they did that at the end of the Divisionville tour. That is actually what concluded the tour. It was a brief four-song reunion at the Live 8 charity concert in Hyde Park in London. The set was 4 songs long. It was "Speak to Me" slash "Breathe," "Money," "Wish You Were Here," and "Comfortably Numb."
but, those 4 songs right there, that's like 20 minutes worth of music.
I know. That's what I was thinking whenever when I was reading this, is like and you know that the live versions have to be, like, probably 2 minutes longer.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was probably stretched out, especially at the end of the show, big solos by David and all
Oh, yeah.
that.
I know the Dark Side of the Moon guys are great though, are they not? Our dudes
Dude,
from up in Ohio, they love coming to play.
they're true pros, they know the catalog inside and out,
They do.
it's really cool. If there's one thing every Kentucky picker knows, it's Pink Floyd because we grew up with it on the radio in these parts.
That's
It's
a
always
quote.
played.
If there's anything that a Kentucky picker knows, it's Pink Floyd. Can we put that on a shirt
There you go. I
for
remember
something?
the first time I got rowed up in the United States Navy, I had a big green sea bag where you put all your life stuff in a bag like this long, that's it, and
Mhm.
it had US on it, and I wrote, "And them" underneath it, like us and them. Well, next thing you know, I'm doing push-ups with that sucker, like, a lock on the back of my head doing push-ups in boot camp. I was like, "That's not it's not
You were
fun."
supposed to write on your bag, huh?
I don't think he knew what Pink Floyd was, but if he did, I think would I got more push-ups, but
Maybe. Maybe. No, I'm stoked to have those guys back though. They always bring a really rad light show even. It's like you get the good audio, you get the good visual, and you're in the grove. So it's like win win win.
So last year, remember I remember last year.
Mhm.
Oh, man, they were like, "Hey, do you mind if we bring our own board in and you can help us, right?" And it looked like I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Money Pit where all the construction workers start coming day 1, but I was like I looked back and I was like, "What the hell?" He had this forklift with these big, huge subs, and they were coming all in. I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, we
And it
started
was
loading in at like 11 or 12 that day, I think.
it was so loud, but
It's
it was
like,
so
"Are
good.
we building the wall today?" It's like,
Yeah,
nope,
it
they're
was
just
Jimmy
really serious about what they do.
it was Jimmy and his brother from JHS Sound up in, I think he's in Illinois, and
Um,
they're out of Ohio, but their guitar player, I think he's out of Detroit because
interesting.
hey, it says Obi-Wan on his guitar rig. I'll remember his name here in a minute, but he's a great guy. They're all total pros.
They
I
are,
just I just remember what it said on his rig.
and they get so excited whenever they get to come to Kentucky because they're big bourbon people, and they do, like, bourbon trail stuff whenever they come, so it's always like a dual trip for them.
I'll give an anecdote of the first time or the last time I ran sound. Remember they wanted me to do the echo on Us and Them and, like,
Yes.
Comfortably Numb, and I was looking up beats per minute. I was like, 127 beats per minute. I was like, it would go, "Us, us, 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 and them,"
Well,
and I was like,
then
"I." That was fun. Everybody behind me was watching me going,
I was watching you going,
I was just sitting there
"Better
like,
you
"What?"
than me, bud." You did a great job, though. You killed it.
That's fun stuff, but that light show is sick.
It is.
It's top dollar. They put a lot of money and hard work into their gear. I was just looking at, like, I got David Gilmour white Stratocaster. I got a David Gilmour black Stratocaster. I seen a Roger Waters black T-bass 4-string signature series from the 1980s. It was one of the originals, I think. I seen, like a Nick Mason style signature pedal or something that was in there. Maybe it was on the signature rack or something like that, and I'm like, "Good lord." But to get all those effects and all that, just to bring in everything that they do, requires a lot of time, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
You have that stuff is hard. David Gilmour is one of the hardest guitar players
Oh,
to
without
ever
a doubt.
play, and they do a flawless job of it, so and the catalog is deep, and they can even play some, like Goodbye Blue Sky. I think they did that last year. That was
Mhm.
amazing.
Yes.
Hey,
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
I was, listening. I get all these reels on music stuff, and I think I told you this one, but that little time signature on Time, like, that's Roger Waters holding his bass strings against the pickup, and he's just doing that from what I hear. And also, when Roger was cutting the wall, mainly by himself in New York City at that time at the first, he, he went and hired the Beach Boys to do the Show Must Go On. You know how it's a very dark album. It's very dark, it's deep, but when you get, like it's like, must the show go on?" That's got Tennille from Captain and Tennille singing that, and he's got the Beach Boys layering that with him. I mean, they're not actually
Yeah.
singing it, but that's got that production value of what they do, so he could bring that because Roger just
Wow.
wanted to bring that whole happy element into that. And I thought that was so unique.
Nobody can do happy sad like the Beach Boys.
Oh, I agree. It's pretty melancholy stuff, isn't it?
It is. It is. No, I'm excited. Did you ever did you ever see any of the Pink Floyd folks in any capacity? Have we talked about that?
No, I've never got to see Pink Floyd. I got a chance to see them my, sophomore year with my first 2 bandmates, Aaron and Nick, and they're no longer with us, but I wish I went
Oh,
with them. I really
yes.
did, because they went up to Lexington and see them at Ruppert. Now they went up to Freedom Hall and seen them up there
Mm.
in Louisville. But they
Oh,
seen the Division Bell tour, and they came back, and are like, "Oh, Pink Floyd," and
I saw Roger Waters, whenever he did, I think it was called Off the Wall, the tour that I saw him on, but it was at the Yum Center in Louisville. It was crazy because he did, like, he had, like, I don't know how they did it, but they had, like, lasers coming from different points in the arena, and at the end, it formed, like, this big, huge pyramid laser that, like, covered the entire floor of the stadium. It was stupid. It's like, what is even happening right now?
I remember through the early '90s, late '80s, one of the big things was Laser Floyd. People would just go
Yeah,
to drive-ins and watch or wherever and see Laser Floyd stuff, just play
yeah,
music to
for
it.
sure.
Roger has that, Roger Waters The Wall, that documentary where he goes and sees where his father
Yes.
passed. That's really good.
It's
That's good
so
stuff.
good.
And David, he has, one, it's just David Gilmour and friends, but it's got, like, you know, Graham Nash and David Crosby singing backups for him, and he just has an eclectic group of musicians behind him. Of course, Nick Mason and Richard Wright right there, but, like, it's just it's
Yeah,
top-notch stuff whenever you get that. Now, if anybody does like Pink Floyd, The Wall, and all that, listen to Roger Waters' solo album, The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. That's a very, very good continuation of The Wall, I think.
agreed. Agreed. Man, it kinda makes me sad that those guys don't like each other very much because they sure made some badass music. I was pulling some, just, like, some random facts about Pink Floyd just to see if any of these came as a surprise to you. Roger, Nick, and Richard all met in architecture school.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't
in
know that.
1963, London Polytechnic. Sorry, my dogs keep woofing.
It's part they come to the Grove too. I see Brandy at the Grove all the time.
That's right. Brandy, the original Grove dog.
So, just needless to say that, the Beatles, didn't make it in art school, and neither did Pink Floyd in architecture school.
Right, no kidding. And speaking of the Beatles, whenever Pink Floyd was recording The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, they recorded it at Abbey Road, which was directly adjacent to the Beatles recording Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band at the exact same time.
Ooh, I
How is
think
that for
I think that's Sid's last
club?
album too, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn,
Mm,
because he
a
exited the band.
67, that would make sense.
Yeah, because I think, David was a part of the band because, he was really heavily playing a lot of the guitar at the
Right.
request of Sid and all them. They all knew each other and all. I think he was playing for the orchestra too, the London Orchestra. It's
Yeah.
funny how all these guys would be like, "Oh, these guys, they this and that." By like, come on, man. Like John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page was, writing songs for BBC Radio, you know.
Oh,
Like,
it's insane, and
yeah.
the list of people that that Jimmy played with before Zeppelin was even, like, up and coming is just insane.
I mean, he wrote the James Bond theme song.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Crazy. I did not know that.
that's crazy. I mean, because I mean, it was a BBC thing, so like, but I like the Donovan album that he did.
Yeah.
'Cause once I heard, cause I was like, "Well, Donovan, Mellow Yellow," it's really recorded fantastically well for its time, especially for all those old analog, like, 4-track recorders and all that.
It
But,
holds up.
like but when I heard that it's Jimmy Page doing all that, I was like, "Well, that makes sense right there. That makes all kinds of sense." So, I just want Jimmy Page to play on my next album.
Right? Don't we all? I don't think that I've ever told you this story, but just to give the people that are listening a little bit of background. The whole reason that I even got into bluegrass music in the first place is because I was a folk studies student and I ended up doing a semester long project about bluegrass jam circles and just like live bluegrass in general and the way that the shows flowed and the jams flowed and that type thing, and ended up obsessed with it, long story short. But I ended up at Station Inn pretty quickly, just from word of mouth and, going to some little jams around here. And there was this lady that played the stand-up bass that I interviewed, and her name was Peggy Orange. She was so cool. And she, like, came and found me and, like, picked me out because she saw me, like, scribbling in my little notebook like a nerd and was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Are you with, like, a magazine or something?" And I told her, I was doing participant observation, for this in-depth project that I was doing. And when we sat down, she told me a story about one of her first experiences at Station in a jam circle, and they have their jams every Sunday night at Station Inn. If anybody ever gets the opportunity, you should go. Just have a popcorn and a beer and maybe a pizza or something, and just you never know who's gonna walk through the door,
That's
really.
right.
Um, and to that point, Peggy was telling me that she's, sitting in this circle with, just like doing the thing, and you're just like trying to be cool. And she said that this guy, there's a back door for those that have not been at Station Inn. There's a back door that only the musicians use, and they just come in and out of it all the time. It's in plain sight. It's not hidden. It's not discreet. You can very much see whenever the artists are coming and going. And she said that there was an older gentleman that walked in all black, and he didn't say anything to anybody. He just came and sat down, opened his guitar case and got it out, and he just looked around and he started listening. And he didn't even play for quite a while, and he just kept going, "Wow, wow." Like Owen Wilson style, like she was pretty close to him and could hear him saying that. And then he started playing, like, along with everybody, and she was like, "Okay, this guy is somebody, I don't know who it is." She had not seen Jimmy Page in some time and had no idea what he looked like as an older gentleman, but she was sitting in a jam circle with Jimmy Page and had no idea. Stationed in Nashville, Tennessee on a Sunday night.
Wow, that's,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page at Station Inn on a Sunday night.
Yeah, man.
Now that's a song, that's a country song right there.
Isn't it?
Man,
Can
that
you
is, yeah.
imagine me being 21 years old on the receiving end of this story just being like, "What? What are you talking about?" But that for me was just like, "Okay, what's happening here?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, if Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, one of my favorite bands of all time, in case anybody wanted to know, I was literally front row center the first night it was available to see that doc. Like, if I could go back in time and see any band, that is who it would be, hands
Oh.
down.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
oh,
when
yeah.
people like him are coming to these little corners of the world on a Sunday night just to hear this music and be around it, like, there is something to be said for that, you know?
Yeah, that London guy that's rich, he can have anything he wants. You know,
Yeah,
he can go buy pretty much anything he wants if he's a musician of the gods,
exactly.
he can request something in New York City, but he can come to Nashville and it be irreplaceable.
That's right,
Yeah,
because meaningful sound in a small space, you can't beat it. You can't beat it, my friend.
especially all those players, I'm sure he got more of a thrill out of hearing them than they did him, which is because
Oh,
they
I
hear
think
so
that it
much, but,
was
like
it's
yeah.
very symbiotic. I noticed that firsthand and very quickly whenever I started going to those jams because it is all give and take. There is nobody that's trying to show off and show out. It's communal. It's they're so polite. They literally have developed this system in which they don't even have to give any sort of audible cue, they can nod to each other, and they know whenever the next solo is supposed to start, and it's to me, it's the most communal form of live music. I'm a little biased probably being from Kentucky, but
No, and it's and what's cool is, when I was in the service, I was stationed overseas for, 6 years. So I had to live in their cultures and, I got to soak it all up. But not only just the foods and, everything else and life and breathing their air and, drinking all their wonderful smelling great teas and all that stuff. They all have jam circles just like we do. That's what I did see. And some of the best like free jams that I ever seen, like Southwest Tokyo, go to Yamato City, just the regular big park out there, man, you'll see some of the best drummers you ever seen because they can't play this stuff in their houses. They got small houses. They don't have
right.
garages like we do, you know?
Yeah,
So they jam in parks where they can publicly play open and man, talent.
I bet.
Go to the Philippines and see about 12 guys playing in a circle. And they'll just bring it
Got it.
home. So go to Hawaii on the beaches and just see if all those guys that are not playing for tourists are not some of
I
the
get to go
best
to a
you could.
luau when I was in Hawaii, and they did, like, the drums on I had the pig that they put in the ground and roasted and did the whole thing. It was awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, even in Guam, they had this big, huge, like, amphitheater, and all kinds of musicians would just show up there, and I remember I even joined a band there once. Just left there with some guy from Switzerland and say, "Let's get a band together." I'm like, "Well, I'm in the Navy still, but"
I think I still gotta do this thing. I'm not really sure.
"Oh, yeah, I'm in that too, yeah."
No big deal. Oh, well, I think
Your
that,
your dog your dogs have been resilient, by the way.
oh,
You're
yeah,
surrounded by 3
yeah,
dogs?
3.5 well, yeah, 2.5, 3 total. One is, about a quarter of the size of the other 2, so I only count her as a half. I know, buddy, I think that this just about gets us for episode 1. What do you think?
That was fun.
Yeah, I think
God,
so
it's
too.
53
Um,
minutes, really? Wow.
yeah, yeah, and so we've got Dark Side of the Moon coming up on Saturday, gates at 6 o'clock, show at 8. A little bit later start time than typical. We're gonna wait to get the sun get down a little bit, so we get that light show looking good.
Absolutely,
Yeah, we
uh
are excited.
oh, no, that on his rig, it says Han, because that's his first name is Han. I remember that guy from Detroit now. I can't wait to see him
Ah.
again. He wears the coolest sunglasses too. I need to get his sunglasses thing.
What did you said he had some kinda Star Wars sticker on his guitar case?
It's on his, guitar rig. It says Han on it, because
Oh,
I think that's his either first name or last name, but he's an engineer up in, yeah, I think either originally from Detroit, but I think he lives in Ohio now, but they're all like the bass player was a lawyer, and I think the rest of them are like
yes.
engineers and stuff,
No,
so
one of them like, worked in construction, and it's so funny to me.
but
You
that but
can
that
you can relate to that, though.
yeah, yeah. I like the work ethic. I can tell a lot of their stuff is very good, but the fans that show up for this, make the rest of it happen because they know the catalog. They love Pink
Yeah.
Floyd, you know,
And all ages love Pink Floyd.
always.
It knows no bounds. I think that it's really funny that I ended up a bigger Pink Floyd fan than my parents.
What's your favorite Pink? Yeah, same he well, not except not my dad. My dad probably got me beat to death on that one. I think he went to Pink Floyd in 19 yes, he did. He told me. He said they were that big because he was so far away.
Ah, so
It's
he
like
he got to
it's like
see the real deal back in the day, huh?
yeah, I think it was '74 he got to see Pink Floyd.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so cool. They had They had one of the, those little blue, like, alien-looking guys from The Wall. They have, one of them at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, so I got to see one of those guys. They've got him, like, peering up his little hands are, like, holding on to, like, this huge wall, and he's just kinda peering up over everybody. It's awesome.
Man, that is awesome. That, Leo Fender, that started Fender Guitars, he invented this Stratocaster, everything like that, right? He gave the first Stratocaster ever made to David Gilmour because David Gilmour, he said, was the master.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's top 5 guitar players of all time for me. It's hard for me to pick a favorite guitar player. I have favorites for all of these different reasons, but David Gilmour's on the list for sure.
Willie Nelson's one of my tops.
Damn right he is.
Yeah, he's just a damn good guitar player. Like,
Yeah.
no
You
one
him
can no one
him and
can sit
Trigger,
there
that's
and
a dynamic
that
duo.
yeah, that fit that hip that he just the fills he does, but I
Yes.
remember when I was a little kid, growing up to Jimi Hendrix and, Jimmy Page and all the guitar greats, and but my favorite was always Duane Allman.
Hmm,
He just played it different,
I like that.
and he did that all before the age of 24. He died at the age of 24.
I didn't know that. I knew he died young, but I didn't know it was that young.
And
Man,
that includes the Derek and the Dominoes sessions with Layla and,
wow. That
right,
is
what
wild.
that's
That
a
is
huge
wild.
huge loss.
I was a huge Chet Atkins fan whenever I was a kid. Grew up listening
Yeah.
to my mama and granddad.
Yeah, I remember, you know, listen to mine was Hank Garland. Of course, Chester was one of my favorites ever, and, just to hear, like, the all the warm-ups and all that. He reminded me of Louis Prima. He just had
Yeah.
such like, he was playing the melody and the lead at the same with on the same guitar, and I'm like, "Dude, usually 2 people do that together," you know?
Yeah.
And, but Chester's story was great because, you know, he toured with Mother Maybelle when it was her and her daughters, and, Nashville told him he couldn't come, I guess, and said, "You can come and play the Opry, but you leave that guitar player there." They were at some, like, hayride radio thing in Arkansas,
Mm.
I think, at that time, and, she told the Opry, she goes, "We are coming with Chester," and that was it.
Nobody says no to Mother Maybelle.
That's right, and their fear was right, he took over that town. He
Dang.
turned he turned metropolitan country and all this stuff.
Wow. They had her, big jumbo at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was emotional for me. Very cool stuff. If you ever get the opportunity to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, you absolutely should if you have not gone. Very fun.
When I was a little kid and then I first started learning how to play a guitar because acoustic guitar, because they were everywhere. There was no electric bass guitars just sitting around or especially big uprights or nothing like that. And, so I started learning how to play guitar, just acoustic guitar, and, every old timer when I was a little kid, this was back in the mid '80s, be like, "Hey, can you play Wildwood Flower or can you play some Jimmie Rogers?" I'm like, "What?" Like, "I can't play any of that." I definitely cannot play the Carter Scratch. That's for damn show.
No, I love those songs so much, and I enjoy singing them, so I play them in my own way, but ain't nobody can do it like Mother Maybelle did.
Yeah, some of those guitar players, a lot of people say that she paved the way for, like, Steve Vai and all that stuff, so,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
I know. Alright, buddy. Well, how are we feeling? Episode 1 in the books. We've
One
done
thou
it.
1000%.
1000%. Well, in that case, thank you for joining us on the inaugural ride that is Between Two Trees.
That is
Thank you for joining us. My
between
name
2
is
trees,
Candace.
trees, 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 trees. Bong, bubble
Yes.
bong, bubble bong. No, that one's already taken.
Well, we'll figure something out. We'll get you to working on a jingle between now and the next episode. How about that?
I'll come up with a little bass jingle or something like that, but I think you might need to sing on it. Maybe?
I don't know about that. Maybe we'll let Brandy sing on it.
That'll work too.
Yeah,
I'll be happy with that.
she has a lovely singing voice.
She does.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening. I am Candace, and been here with my trusty co-host Rob Ray,
Yo, yo, yo.
and we will see you on the next one.
Between 2 trees. Trees, trees.